we should always be willing to critique systems so that they can improve. And based on your experience working with education leaders and also being a former classroom teacher, what are your thoughts about this parents' rights movement, and how can people determine what is really authentic engagement or criticism of our education system, which does need to improve? And, how do we give me some examples and non-examples of the kind of advocacy that you think we should be seeing?
So one of the things you didn't mention is I'm also an athlete, and I'm going to use an athletic example and analogy here. I played basketball for 40 years. I've tried out for 2 WNBA teams. My husband's a head football coach. So athletics for us is a really powerful medium too. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to make an analogy between how I'm seeing people show up in education versus how I see people showing up on the sideline at my husband's football games right now. There are a lot of armchair quarterbacks in education right now who heard something on Twitter, they read something on Twitter, and now have decided this is what schools are doing. And I'll just use CRT as the most recent example. Critical race theory, for the way that it's being described by many people, is not actually happening in schools. Now, and the places that I'm seeing, and I get to be all over the country now. Before the pandemic, I was in Washington State pretty much, maybe Oregon, California, but I wasn't really anywhere else. Now I'm all over the country. And the places that are having the most heated conversations about CRT are the whitest spaces in America, where I know people are not doing CRT. They're not. And in fact, they're hardly even teaching anything about Black history at all, or any kind of history outside of the traditional way that history has been taught in this country for the last 51 years that I've been alive. And so that feels like armchair quarterbacking, where you've heard something, you're seeing something on a screen, and then you go and rail and scream at people in a school board meeting, but you don't even know what's actually happening in a classroom. You never played the game before.